Welcome to the Orecast, where we dive deep into what makes you truly awesome. I'm your host, Dorchester Koning, founder of Awe Academy. In every episode, we explore the power of awe, not just as a feeling, but as a tool that transforms how we learn, grow, lead, live, and love. As each guest shares what sparks their curiosity and how they work with wonder, we connect with a deeper sense of awe. So, take a breath and get ready for some interpersonal magic. Welcome to the Orecast. In this episode, I'm talking to Jess, who is one of the founders of Fatopia, an international community of artists, entrepreneurs, activists, academics, and engineers. Fatopia is experimenting with new, more sustainable and resilient ways of living and working in order to rethink the world of tomorrow. Jess is an architect, a mother, and a wonderful human being that cares deeply about community and building a healthy world. She also has a great sense of humor and is fun to be around. Yes, we are live. Well, actually, we're not live, but we're recording. It always sounds pretty cool, live right now. So, hello, Jess. Nice to see you again.
Hello.
And it's been a while. I went to Fatopia, I think, in May last. So that was when I last saw you. And you had just become a mother for a few months. So there was a lot going on for you, and the house was fully booked. And we'll get more into that, what the house is. I just want to introduce you by saying I met you, and I don't know you very well, but I feel like you are a very spirited, entrepreneurial, and strong leader, loved by many, and you have a passion for the arts and for community. You are the owner of Chateau du Fay and founder of Fatopia, and you recently became a mother, like I just said. So maybe this is not even all encompassing. It's just an impression I have. I'm really curious about you and about how awe plays out in your life.
Uh, Thank you. And thank you to also you naming this project the Awe Academy.
Mm.
I just want to start by saying that in French, we don't really have an equivalent of awe.
Oh, wow.
And we have this thing called émerveillement, but it doesn't quite capture the spiritual nature of awe, that kind
Yeah.
of beyond dimension. And so I'm quite happy to be talking about it because it forces me to translate some of my French thinking into English.
Oh, that's
Um,
beautiful. Just that effect alone is it already expands something.
Yes, exactly. And it always brings us back to the power of language and words and so yeah, awe is very dear to me in many, many ways. And I would say most of the time I use awe when talking about nature and
Mm.
about sustainability and climate issue. I would say, you said I'm very fond of the arts and community, and I guess if I was to find a third pillar,
Yeah,
it would be caring for the environment.
yeah.
And I have like a insider judge inside of me that always tells me I'm not doing enough.
Mm.
So I feel always, like a bit like a bad student, but at least I try.
Yeah.
And I think in a world where often we try to change mindsets and behaviors through, kind of tough activism or fear, I feel I'm way more comfortable with the medium of awe
Mm.
to change mindsets or
Yeah.
maybe open perspective and horizons on the world and what it could be.
Mm.
Because I think it has that transcendence nature.
Yeah.
Like in awe is it just I think the magical effect through which you're like a little kid that's discovering something that was just not in your horizon. And with
Yeah.
baby, you see awe on a daily basis. It's
Yeah.
really incredible. It's like awe, like condensed, it's like baby is playing, and then it's like, oh, and then it's like, uh-huh, and it just goes like like that, like
So true.
24/7.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
you can
So
see.
has having a baby opened your eyes to awe again in a different way?
100%. I mean, it's just like that, like dynamite
Yeah.
when it comes to like just birthing a baby is already like, what the heck is
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
The whole thing is just in on another plane of existence.
Yes.
And so, I can see the baby being in awe. I'm in awe. Like, I look at Ed being in awe, my
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is really truly an experience of awe that sadly sometimes you tend to forget if you're,
Mm.
with lack of sleep and all of these
Yeah.
things. So you're like, oh, I'm changing a nappy, and you have to reframe all of a second and be like, no, but this is magical.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes it's hard to explain because I feel the only thing I can explain easily are the kind of pragmatic, boring things, which are often the negative things.
Hmm.
Like I didn't sleep, I have to change
Mm.
the nappy, da da da. Um, but the beautiful parts are so sacred that they are hard, like that. It's hard to, it's also in the experiential.
Yeah.
So
It's in
and
the body, right? It's very much
it's in the body, it's
in
experiential, and so it's just
yeah.
hard to communicate.
Yes.
So I would say always from as an outsider before having babies, I was always like, is this a good idea? Because it looks like a lot of hard work.
Yes.
But it gets very much compensated and beyond by the magical side of it.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that too. I was also wondering, as you were talking, has this childlike curiosity or this sense of awe always been with you from when you were a child, and how has it shaped you in your path?
Hmm. It definitely oscillates. I think it's always like a perimeter of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Like very much in periods where I'm like stressed and I'm very much in the doing, and I'm just like to-do list. Almost like my I don't know. It's almost like an eye, right? Like
Yeah.
very closed for awe. Like it's almost I don't have time for awe, or
Yeah.
or I need to reframe it to have all for admin, being like, oh, so exciting to do the spreadsheet. But it's almost not all, right? It's
I
more like,
love that approach though.
yeah, I would say I mean, it can be all like trying to find a bit of excitement and love for the things you don't really want to be doing, but it's almost like positive thinking.
Yeah.
I don't put it quite in the same level or sacredness as awe.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and I think in awe, there is very much also an aspect of surprise.
Yes.
Um, so that's why for me they're different. It's like, oh, I don't want to be doing I don't want to be doing accountancy, but wait, Jess, actually this is so good because in accountancy you can do this and that and that. So there is a bit of surprise and excitement if I could reframe my mind to it. But true experience of awe, or I think they really take you by surprise. Like
Mm.
I remember when I started growing vegetable for the first time, and
Mm.
it's like, no way. Like there's
Yeah.
this, and sometimes you know it, but it still takes you as like you're still like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
There's really
Yeah.
that element of surprise and wonder.
I love that when something quite mundane, or we've seen a potato grow, we've seen a carrot come out of the ground, but every time it happens, or every time a baby is born, it's like, what? And so I have this same kind of wonder that just kind of comes over me like a, I don't know, like magic, and I allow it to move me every time.
Mhm.
And I think that's a skill that we need to relearn, which is why I founded Awe Academy. And I wonder how the chateau and Fatopia also cultivates this sense. Do you have something to share about that?
Ah, I love that framing. I might steal it from you to allow it to move you.
Yeah.
Because that's true. And I think that's what spirituality is.
Mm,
I read this book on Esalen. I don't know if you know about Esalen in California. And it's like a big book. It's quite
mm,
heavy. But it was written by a theologist, and he basically explain, I was born really not spiritual.
mm.
I had some religious background, but it was very much, an avocado is an avocado, a
Right.
book is a book. And so basically he explains that for him spirituality is just the idea that you can whether see reality as such,
Mhm.
or you can put this additional layer of symbolism
Mm.
and emotions and narrative
Mhm.
uh, that makes it a bit more poetic in a
Yeah.
way. In a
Yeah.
way, the poetry is very much that, right? It's a layer on top of the pragmatic, visual,
Yeah.
tangible reality.
Yeah.
And
The
I
feet in
think
the
that's
mud kind of feeling, and then on top of that, there's a wow.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so you can just be like, oh, cool, the zucchini grew. But if you're like, no, like, isn't it incredible? And I agree that it's something one can cultivate within ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, at a personal level, I think both of my parents are psychiatrists, and so I always saw my dad doing that.
Mm.
Like that his muscle is like full on.
Yeah.
Always finding the positive and the joy and the magic and everything.
Mm.
Um, and um, and I think as a result, like I love when people say I'm an enthusiast or I'm an optimist, and I don't think that's quite the word.
Mm.
I think it's very much that muscle.
Hmm.
It's an active belief that reality is the result of stories we tell ourselves. So
Right.
we might as well tell ourselves beautiful stories, which is very different from fooling oneself. And I think
Yeah.
it's an important distinction. And so, for instance, I've been for the past 16 years, every day, and I rarely miss a day. I do the three highlights a day.
Mm.
So I don't go to bed before being like, what are your three highlights? And I ask Ed, or
Yeah.
before I used to just write it, journal,
Yeah.
ask myself. And it's even more important when you have a shit day.
Yeah.
And I think the chateau, which is, the space of community and rituals, I think we always try to have that in the culture. It's whether it's gratitude circles on Fridays or we were talking about having kind of a positive layer on things like, dishwashing turns into disco dishwashing. And actually, can we and actually, I think there's awe in it because your entire life you think of dishwashing as something boring and annoying, and all of a sudden, with a bit of creativity, that's where creativity comes in, right?
Yeah.
You're like, can we turn this annoying thing into something fun
Yeah.
and where we do community bonding? So we put loud disco music, and we do the dishwashing, and I think with practice, even the most mundane things in your life can be done with intention and actually beauty.
Yeah, yeah, I so much agree with you. And do you feel that your part of your upbringing also led you to, well, maybe you even thought when you were younger, I want to be a princess when I grow up, and now you're a princess, right? Of an actual mansion. So how did this happen? Like how did you come to shaping a community or founding one? How did
Mm.
you come to buying a castle? Like these seem pretty awesome ideas to me and kind of way beyond the scope of ordinary people. So yeah, I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah, it's no, like first of all, the answer is no. I never thought that would be the project. I
Yeah.
kind of found myself here being like, oh wow, this is taking an interesting turn. Um, I'm fascinated by people, age two, they have a vision and that, they just execute towards the vision.
Yeah.
That being said, I think in 2016, I mean, it started in 2014 where I started really loving or being interested as an architect in community spaces. And
Mm.
then in 2016, I lived in a place that really shifted a lot of my assumptions about community spaces.
Mm.
It was working well, it was magical. I met amazing people, and I was like, wow, people can live like this year long. Um, and I also met another person who was also a big dreamer.
Mm.
And I remember he did a workshop around dreams, and I wrote, "One day I'll start my own commune." And, funny enough, so I saw him the other day. I had not seen him for years, and I was like, now that the commune is here, I need to do another workshop around dreams. So I wrote it on a piece of paper, and maybe it will it will happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, the I think the chateau. I mean, I've always been into spaces, right? Like I've always had bigger spaces, so I could host people or had roommates. So in a way, I've always done things like that. But the chateau format is an eccentric one.
Yeah.
Running a space, like I always said, oh, I would love to run a theater, or um, I wanted to run a theater when I was 15. or be the mayor or urbanist that like reshape a city. So there was always something
Yeah.
around spaces.
Yeah.
That's why I studied architecture.
Hmm.
But the chateau is, an eccentric. So I think the place picked me, to be honest. I think
Wow.
it arrived on our path, and it just became an obvious choice,
Yeah.
or I think it took us, kind of
Yeah.
like not care for me, and here we are.
That's so awesome. And it how long has Fatopia been a thing? And could you say a little bit more for the listeners who don't know Fatopia? It's an awesome place, so it's worth giving it a little bit more mention.
Yeah, yeah. So to sum it up, so after I finished architecture school, I started my own practice, and I was very much working as an architect, but I was also involved in the educational project, and um, and the founder of the educational project wanted me to help him find a space, and
Hmm.
that's when I bumped into Chateau du Fait. My parents knew about it because they had a countryside house nearby, and then started the adventure of trying to save this place that was for sale for 10 years and get a mortgage and try to find the finances.
Yeah.
And I was 26, so like my parents were so sweet. They were like psychiatrists trying to so we're just brainstorming on the project, but to be honest, at the beginning was more like, can we just bring it back to life? And I think
Yeah.
we were very optimistic on the cost, and so we had to just find solutions. We hosted the educational project the first year, and then I was like, whatever can come, and so weddings and team
Yeah.
retreats. But I always had the idea like, oh, right now it's the world of yesterday paying for the world of tomorrow. Right now we're doing
Wow.
weddings and restoring the place, and I, like we're under the water when it comes to finances. Like it was
Yeah.
really stressful.
Wow.
But one day will be a community space. And so when COVID arrived, it was really dreadful because we thought, do we have to sell the chateau
Yeah.
because there was no events? We were really, banks would not give us more money. And it was really stressful. But then I was like, maybe that's the moment, a door closes, 10 open, and I invited 10 friends who turn into 30 and 200. And,
Wow.
now every year it's 300 people that come through the chateau. And so it's a seasonal communal living project. So
Yeah.
every winter for 4 to 5 months, people gather. Some people come for 2 weeks. Some people stay the whole time.
Mhm.
And the main part is really to just live in community.
Yeah.
Some people work on their own stuff, but then we have also an added layer of workshops that sometimes give the week a special flavor or theme that kind of trickle down, the conversations and
Mhm.
impact a bit how people experience the week.
Yeah.
That has been the project, and it kind of arrived by surprise. Obviously, there was an intention, but never would I thought it would arrive so soon. So it has been this kind of magical surprise.
Yeah, and I love how you say that the house basically chose you to build this community there and to bring the house back to life, but also the culture of community. And I think, especially community right now, there's such a high need for this, and people are feeling it more and more. They're feeling disconnected, loneliness, pandemic of loneliness has been described as such, and also, people are moving around a lot from place to place, don't own houses anymore. So all of that has changed. So the community that we have at Fatopia are people that can move from place to place and can also contribute in different ways, in different places, in different times, which is, I think, a beautiful sharing of skills, sharing of awe, diversity, bringing diversity into different places where maybe normally in Joigny you wouldn't have that many weirdos walking around, right? And I mean weirdos in a really positive way because
Yeah, yeah, we
creatives,
we're
people that,
aligned here.
yeah, great. People that love to do things daringly and to try to live in a way that is positive for the next generation as well, that is regenerative. So I think this is what Fatopia brings together, these kinds of people. Then I was wondering, how does it affect you and your partner in living your lives well, constantly, nearly constantly in community, but also with this great responsibility of the house.
Mm. Well, it is not too involved in the running of the house, which is quite positive. And so we very much have our own projects. So I think that helps in not going cuckoo.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, we're lucky and we really found each other because I think one day we took I mean, it's not, I think, one day we took a personality test.
Hmm.
It's so funny because Ed arrived, it was like, it's the big five, it's called. And then there's one line is extraversion.
Yeah.
And Ed was like 100% extroverted, and I arrived 99%. So we were like, I can't believe, like, if we're in a room of 100 people, Ed is the person that's the most extroverted, and then I
Wow.
come second or something.
Wow.
So it was just really funny. So I think that helps, to be honest. I don't think everybody is suited for for that type of work.
True.
If you call it work, it doesn't really feel work for us. Sometimes it does. But also it's when that's why the high season is, I mean, what we call the high season, the event season is quite nice.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of times where I'm like, oh, should we do Fitopia year long or not? But there's something nice in the seasonal
Yeah.
because it's so, dense and intense that actually having this other season where we can kind of delegate the events and be a bit more, outside. We started renting a flat in Paris and have our own bubble, and that
Mm.
helps a lot. So we can kind of restore
Yeah.
in, out, and kind of
Oh,
play with that movement.
yeah. Like an inhale, exhale movement throughout the year in
Totally.
kind of like a half year of all in and then a half year of all out or nearly all out. I suppose you
Yeah.
need a foot in the
Yeah,
door.
and even now Fitopia runs itself, so I don't feel
Yeah.
like I have like the proof is, I came back to the end of the season after being gone for 2 months on maternity leave.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was
the kettle was
amazing.
still standing.
Yes. It was amazing also to how you were welcomed back with a whole Lion King production, or at least a song in the fountain. And it's so amazing that people welcomed you back to your own home. And I just thought that was really touching when I heard about it because I arrived a day afterwards, so I couldn't join the Lion
Yeah,
King, unfortunately.
I cried. Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And then on the one hand, you shared with us that you were kind of now we're going back home. What work is waiting for us, and you felt like wow, this is our place. This is where we
Mm,
can also be who we need to be and take the rest that we need and
mm, mm,
seclude
mm,
ourselves a little bit from the community when we need to. And I felt like wow, that was a beautiful holding of you as a couple that had just had a baby.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, that was amazing.
100%. No,
Yeah,
it felt really, really beautiful.
yeah. And there was one more question I have, just to bring this to a close. Maybe you can share one experience in which your purpose for sustainability comes together with awe and with the project that you're in right now. I don't think it's even, project sounds like too small a word because this is like a life, I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it's
a
the
life
making of
thing.
life.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how does this come together and how do you see it for instance, for the next year?
Yeah, I think if anything, I think spaces, especially liminal spaces, that are outside of your normal life or opportunities for you to get immersed, in a different context
Mhm.
to rethink, the way you see life, right? And if anything, I feel, what we're trying to do at Fair is because you're so far from shopping or
Yeah.
the flows of consumerism. I think it allows you to reconnect with
Mhm.
actually what makes the fabric of life and what is truly essential.
Mhm.
Sharing good meal with friends, being playful, looking at a coccinelle. How do you call these? Like the red ones, like these little insects with it's red
Oh
and
yeah, the
beetles,
beetle.
beetles.
Yes, beetle. Yeah.
It's so beautiful in French. It's coccinelle. It's like
Wow.
nice
Yeah,
name.
that's beautiful.
Um, and so um, yeah, I think for me that like if we reconnect to what really matters, and what really matters actually is not doesn't take a lot of fossil fuel, like
Mhm.
you can grab an apple from a tree, you can like walk around in nature. And so I think obviously the main mission is rather to have people thriving. It's like, how do we create worlds in which people find a sense of belonging and can, you were talking about it, can be their full weirdo, can expand to their full self without being judged and just reconnecting to, flourish, I think is really the word. But therefore also flourish connected to nature and to their environment.
Yeah.
And that's for me like a recentering, like of core values.
Yeah. And then Faye offers a space for that. And also the grounds that Faye stands on, there it's a foresty ground.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for contemplation and for re, I guess, re discovering the essence of nature.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this today with us, and I hope to visit Faye again soon. And I invite all listeners to definitely visit Faytopia one day.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was lovely.
And it's a wrap. Thank you very much for listening to the Oarcast today. My name is Dorchester Koning. I'm the founder of Oar Academy, a center for professional and personal development through training outdoors and with art. If you're interested to know more, look me up on oaracademy.live.